Hello everyone! I'm AYANA, a Vtuber. Today, I'll explain how to create armature animation. Let's begin! Let's start! By inserting keyframes while transforming the armature, you can create an animation that adds movement to the character. This time, I'll show you how to make a walking robot. First, I'll explain how to set the walking motion for the robot. Click Pause Mode from the menu at the top left of the 3D viewport. Press A to select all bones, and click Clear Transform. All from Pause in the header of the 3D viewport. This will return the model to its initial pose. Next, operate each bone to set the walking motion. You can rotate the bone in any direction by clicking the Rotate gizmo on the toolbar. At this time, select Local from the Transformation Orientation menu in the header of the 3D viewport to make the operation easier. Let's pose the robot like this. Put the right foot forward, set the left foot to the back, the left arm to the front, and the right arm to the back. Adjust the position of the model itself to match the ground. To move the model itself, click the Move gizmo on the toolbar and operate the waist bone. After completing the bone operation, let's set the keyframe. I'll place the keyframe at frame 1 in frame 32. With all bones selected, select Animation. Insert keyframe from Pause in the header of the 3D viewport and click Location Rotation from the Insert Keyframe menu. Next, move to frame 32 and select Animation. Insert keyframe from Pause and click Position Rotate from the Insert Keyframe menu. To invert the pose, move the current frame to frame 16. With all the bones selected, click Copy Pose from Pose in the header of the 3D viewport. Then from Pose in the header of the 3D viewport, click Paste Pose Flipped. After reversing the pose, select Animation. Insert keyframe from Pose and click Position Rotate from the Keyframe Insert menu. If you click Play button in the header of the timeline in the state, the walking animation will be like this. Although it works roughly, it feels a little strange as the body of the robot is not moving up and down at all. Therefore, we need to set more keyframes to adjust the motion. Next, move to frame 8. Straighten the robot's right foot, and bend the knees to straighten each bone so that your left foot is off the ground. At the same time as fixing the foot, the position of the model itself is adjusted to the ground. Switch the viewpoint to the front. The center of gravity is on your right foot, so tilt your upper body slightly to the right. With all the bones selected, select Animation. Insert keyframe from Pause in the header of the 3D viewport, and click Position Rotate from the Keyframe Insert menu. Invert the pose as before. With all bones selected, click Copy Pose from Pose in the header of the 3D viewport. Move to frame 24. And click Paste Pose Flipped from Pose in the header of the 3D viewport. Select Animation. insert keyframe from pause in the header of the 3D viewport, and click Location Rotation from the keyframe insert menu. Now press the play button and watch the movement. We can see that the walking movement is more realistic like this. Next, I'll explain how to combine the created walking animation with the movement of the armature. Here, we will explain how to move an armature using path animation. First of all, the walking animation time is too short at present, so increase the number of frames. Set end in the header of the timeline to 125. Duplicate already inserted keyframes to match the increased number of frames. Press A on the timeline to select all keyframes and Shift+D to duplicate the selected keyframes. At this time, I'll place it overlap with frame 32 position and left-click to determine the duplication position. Repeat the same operation until the end of frame 125. Next, create the path to use for path animation. In Object Mode, click Curve, Path from Add in the header of the 3D viewport. Switch to Edit Mode and change the length of the added path. After deciding the length of the path, switch to Object Mode. Select Armature in Curved Objects and click Object, Parent, Follow Path. Select the curve object to switch to Edit Mode. Select the starting point of the path and click Snap, Cursor, Selection from Curve in the header of the 3D viewport. This will move the 3D cursor to the starting point. Switch to Object Mode and select the armature. Click Snap, Selection to Cursor from Object in the header of the 3D viewport. The object then moves to the position of the 3D cursor, the starting point of the path. Adjust the direction of the armature according to the direction of the travel of the path. With the curve object selected, open the Path Animation panel from Object Data Properties. Set frame to 125 according to the number of frames of the walking animation. After completing these operations, click the play button in the header of the timeline to check the preview. At this time, if the movement speed is too fast or too slow compared to the walking motion, adjust the length of the path to correct the speed. Next, I'll explain how to move an armature using a moving bone. Same thing with the path animation. Set the number of frames to 125 and duplicate the keyframes accordingly. Select the armature in Object Mode and switch to Edit Mode. Click Add Single Bone. Move the added bone down like this. Click Bone Properties and rename the added bone to Root. Select the hip bone and select Root from Parent in the Relations panel. As a result, the waist bone and root are in a parent-child relationship, and both bones are connected by a dotted line. Now switch to Pause mode. After confirming that the current frame is 1 on the timeline, select Root Bone and select Pause in the header of the 3D viewport, then Animation, Insert Keyframe. Select and click Position/Rotate from Keyframe Insertion menu. Move to frame 125 and move the root bone to any position in front of the model. After deciding the position, select Animation, Insert Keyframe from Pause in the header of the 3D viewport, and click Position from the Keyframe Insert menu. This completes the insertion of the keyframe. But since the movement speed is not constant in the state, edit the movement speed from the graph editor. With the root bone selected, click Graph Editor from the Editor Type menu. Click the triangle on the left to see all channels. If you click Z Location Root, only the curve for which the change is set will be selected. In the state, you can make the movement speed constant by clicking Interpolation Mode, Linear from Key in the header of the graph editor. After completing these operations, switch the screen from the graph editor to the 3D viewport and check the preview from the play button in the header of the timeline. If the movement speed is too fast or too slow compared to the walking motion, adjust the position of the root bone in frame 125 to correct the speed. At this time, if you click Auto Keying in the header of the timeline to enable it, the keyframe will be inserted automatically every time you change the bone of the root. In this way, we're able to create a walking animation similar to when using the path animation. This is the end of the lecture on how to create armature animation. How is everyone doing? Did you understand today's lecture? If you found today's lecture useful, please subscribe. If you have any requests, please let us know in the comments below. See you again in the next lecture. See you soon. Bye.